Welcome back to Ivy's Mindset. So we were not able to make a video as of last week because our topic was very bulk. So we just needed time to draft out just the best for you all.
So this week we are coming with a full-on master class. This episode especially is going to be a little bit long because we have a lot to explain. Practically speaking, typically speaking, we have a lot in store for you guys. So you guys should buckle your seatbelts, get out your jotters, and take notes.
So the economic engine is running, value is being created, money is moving between individuals, businesses, government, and institutions. But here is the question that changes everything once you truly understand the answer. Where does all that wealth actually go? Because if you look around any society, any country, any era in human history, you will notice the same pattern repeating itself. Wealth does not spread itself evenly. It does not distribute itself randomly. It concentrates, it pulls, it flows consistently towards certain people, certain places, certain assets, and certain systems. And once you understand why, you will never look at money the same way again. The first thing you need to understand is that wealth is not static. It is always moving. Every single second of every single day, wealth is flowing somewhere. When you spend money, wealth flows towards whosoever received that payment. When you pay interest on a loan, wealth flows towards the bank. When you buy a product from a foreign company, wealth flows out of your country. When you invest in an asset that appreciates, wealth flows towards you. Nothing about wealth is still. It is in constant motion. And just like water, it flows the path of least resistance towards the lowest point. Except with wealth, the lowest point is not physical, it is structural. Wealth flows towards whosoever have built the best condition to receive it and hold it.
So, as my partner said earlier,
wealth flows towards whosoever have built the best condition to receive it and hold it.
What conditions are we talking about? I am here to introduce to you the 5 conditions for accumulating and attracting wealth. These are ownership, leverage, control of resources, trust, and positioning. So, these conditions are the conditions that are best suitable to retain and attract wealth. And I'll break it down to you step by step in the best way possible. So stay with me. So, the first is ownership. This has to be the most important concept in all of wealth building. When you own something, be it a business property, a piece of land, shares in a company, or intellectual property, you are building a structure that wealth continuously flows into. And this is one of the major reasons why most of the wealthiest people are owners, not workers. So let me put it down to you this way. A person who owns a landed property will always keep collecting rent, whether he stays in the place or not. A person who owns intellectual properties will always keep collecting the value that is, attached to the intellectual property. Someone who acquires shares of a company is always going to keep paying dividend, whether he's a worker or not. A business owner is always going to collect profits from all of the transactions that go on within his business. So if you actually want to retain wealth, you actually have to make sure that you have created a structure that not only distributes wealth, not only circulates it rather, but actually attracts and accumulates wealth. The second condition now for attracting wealth is what we call leverage. Leverage simply means using what you have to access or control something much larger than what you own. That is basically what leverage is. There are so many different forms of leverage, but today I'll bring to you the 3 most important forms of leverage, which are financial leverage, operational leverage, and informational leverage. So let's dive into each and every one of these leverages. I told you that this class is going to be a little bit bulky, so bear with me. Make sure you get your notes ready because we are going to take a lot. So let's start with the first one, financial leverage. Financial leverage now means using money you have to acquire or control assets worth more than the capital you own. You mostly see this form of leverage in practice, especially in the real estate industry. For those of us who are into the business, we know what we are talking about. So, a real estate investor now can actually own and manage a property 10 times more than his actual capital. And this is one of the major benefits you can gain while using financial leverages. So the next on our list now is operational leverage. This simply means building systems and processes that can serve multiple people without requiring more effort. The next on our list now is informational leverage. This simply means knowing what others do not, and not just knowing, but doing what others do not. To show you how important leverages are, every wealthy person you know must have used at least one of these forms of leverages to their advantage. Most of them have used the three, but for you who wants to make it big and make it wealthy, make sure you are able to use at least one of these leverages to your advantage, and I promise you will see the changes. Now let's move on to the next stage. So moving on, the third condition for attracting and retaining your wealth is control of resources. Wealth flows towards whoever controls what others needs. This has been true since the beginning of time, and it is still present today. It's just in different forms. So in ancient times, it was land and water. In the industrial era, it was oil, coal, and raw materials. In the 20th century, it was manufacturing capacity and distribution networks. In the world we live now, the most contested resources are data, attention, intellectual property, and technological infrastructure. The companies that control the platforms where billions of people spend their time are extraordinarily wealthy, not because they are clever, but because they sit in between people and what those people need. The fourth condition now is trust and reputation. This is one of the most underrated forms of wealth. Wealth flows towards entities that people trust. Entities that people trust, on the other hand, can charge higher prices for similar goods that other people can literally produce. But now the main factor here is trust, and this is one of the things that they even preach in accounting. Goodwill matters a lot, and that is why it is highly valued in any economy and in any company. So, take care of your reputation. Your brand is not just vanity, it is a wealth building mechanism. So value that. Now we are at the fifth and the final condition for accumulating wealth. If you've been with us this far, then please leave a like and subscribe button, Abby. This is the first time I'm doing this, I'm so sorry. Well, give a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Okay. Now to cut, let's just cut the crap. So the fifth condition now for accumulating wealth has to be your positioning inside the whole economic system. As we explained in our previous video, the economy rewards differently, so your position inside the system also matters. So we made it clear that wealth does not just flow to the hardworking individuals who only invest their time and hard work into whatever they do. You actually have to be smart and understand your industry, position yourself in the right place so you can be able to accumulate and retain your wealth. Now we are done with discussing the major bulkload of this session. We have told you the 5 conditions that you need to attract and retain your wealth. But then here is what I want to bring to the table again. The principle of the compounding effects. I'm sure you've heard this phrase. The rich keep getting richer while the poor keep getting poorer. This is basically the principle of the compounding effect in action. The wealth know this and they understand this to the core, and this is why they keep getting wealthy. Wealth attracts more wealth, resources attract more resources, trust attracts more opportunities. These people, at the end of the day, they don't even go out to go and chase investments and opportunities. Rather, they come chasing them. And this is the principle of the compounding effect. So the more and the better you understand this, the best is going to be for you. Another thing I want to bring to the table is that wealth do not only just flow towards people, it flows towards places and systems as well. Cities that become financial centers and countries that have built stable institutions become major sources of wealth attraction. You can see this in major countries who are well developed. We call those countries now the first world countries. So if you can take a look at them and analyze them, then you're going to see what I'm talking about. It is so clear and it's going to show in effect. So, keeping aside your own positioning inside your own economic system, your efforts could only go this far. That is why for some people it is better to change geographical locations rather than just repositioning themselves inside the system. They do this because they understand that not just people can accumulate and attract wealth. Cities, places, countries, and systems can also be major sources of wealth attraction. And the more you know this, the better for you. So if at all you are going to consider changing geographical locations to maybe go into a better place. Maybe you can find some, greener pastures or whatnot. I would really want you to keep this in mind. Keep this in mind so you know what you are doing, and make sure you make your researches and know the kind of opportunities that you want for yourself.
And finally, let us talk about where wealth does not flow, because this is just as important. Wealth does not flow towards pure consumption. When you spend money on things that do not generate returns, things that depreciate, things that have no ownership component, things that leave you with nothing after the transaction, you are sending wealth away from yourself permanently. Wealth does not flow towards people who trade only their time. Time is finite and non-scalable. No matter how valuable your time is per hour, there is a calling to how much you can earn when time is your only asset. Wealth does not flow towards financial ignorance. The people who do not understand interest end up paying it their entire life. The person who do not understand investment watches inflation silently erode everything they save. Ignorance is not neutral in a financial system. It's expensive.
So now let me bring all of this information together into one piece. So wealth now flows towards ownership, it flows towards leverage, it flows towards control of resources, it flows towards trust and reputation, and it flows towards strategic positionings inside your economic systems. And over time, it compounds relentlessly once it starts accumulating in a particular place. Now, this is the economic engine following its own internal logic. So the best you understand this, the better it's going to be for you. Once you understand this logic, you stop fighting at it with confusion, but you start moving with clarity. Everything about how you approach your career, your business, your financial decisions, your investments begin to shift fundamentally. Our session today has come to an end.
We have now covered value, systems, institution, the economic engine, and wealth flow. And everything we have discussed so far has been building towards one of the most sovereign and important lessons that history keeps teaching us over and over again. Because all of these, the values, the systems, the institutions, the engine, the wealth, it does not last forever. Societies that master these things rise to extraordinary heights, and societies that lose their grip on them fall, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly, but always inevitably. And this is exactly what we are going to explore next when we talk about the rise and fall of societies. Thank you.